Hi, I'm Paul Kyogan from GK Tuition, and in this video I want to talk to you about coordinate geometry. Now the question that I've chosen to go through here is 2019 paper 2 question 2. In this question the line P is described to us. We're told that it intersects the x-axis at the point A0 and intercepts the y-axis at the point 0B. We're asked to find the equation of the line. Now to find the equation of a line, we're going to use the formula y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. You should know straight away that in order to use this formula, you need two pieces of information. You need one coordinate or one point, and you need the slope. Now clearly we have points, so that's not an issue. The first thing we need to do is find the slope. Now there's two ways of doing this. Because the diagram is there, it would actually be very straightforward to just use the rise over the run. So it's relatively straightforward to use the rise over the run. The way that I've chosen to do it is to use our formula, y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. I've labelled my coordinates, I've plugged it in, and my slope works out as minus b over a. Now that I know my slope and I know one of my points, I can now just sub into the equation of the line and hopefully get it in the form they asked for. Okay, so now that I know a point and I know the slope, I can sub straight into the equation of my line formula. So you'll notice on this line that's what I've done. I've labelled a0 as x1, y1, and my slope is minus b over a. So I've subbed in for y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. My immediate complication on this line is the fact there's there's a fraction here, or my slope is a fraction. In order to get rid of the fraction, what I'm going to do is multiply everything by a. If I multiply the left hand side by a, it becomes a times y minus 0. And if I multiply the right hand side by a, well then the fraction the fraction here is just eliminated. The a is just gone. So at least now I've got no fractions on this line and I can multiply it out. A by y is a by 0 is just 0. Minus b by x is minus bx, and minus b by minus a gives me plus ba. And at this stage there's no more simplification to be done. I can't do anything more, so at this stage we should look at what we were asked to prove. We were asked to show the equation of the line can be written as x over a plus y over b equals 1. Which means obviously we should be able to manipulate this to get to here. So what I would look at here is I'd realize, like, let's say the first term here is x over a. So I know the term I have with an x in it needs to be over a. I need to divide that term by a in order to get to my answer. So if I want to divide that term by a, I have to divide every term by a. So I'm just going to divide the entire line, all three terms, by a. On the left hand side I have ay. If I divide that by a, I just get y. Because the a on the top and the a on the bottom cancel each other out. On my next term is a minus bx, so it just becomes minus bx divided by a. And this term I've got plus ba. If I divide that by a, the a's will cancel with each other and I'm just left with plus b. So now at least I have the term with an x in it has an a underneath it. The next thing I would look at, if I look at the next thing I'm looking for, the term that has a y needs to have a b underneath it. So obviously what I should do there is divide everything by b. If I take the term on the left and divide it by b, I get y over b. If I take this term and divide it by b, imagine it's like kind of putting a b in on the bottom of the fraction, so the b on the top and the b on the bottom cancel out. Or in other words, if I divide that term by b, I just get minus x over a. And my last term, if I do b divided by b, just gives me 1. And now happy days, because at least the three terms I have here look very similar to what I'm looking for. But the only thing I need to do now is take the second term I have and bring it across the equals sign. Obviously if it's a minus on the right, it becomes a plus on the left. So I can say that x over a plus y over b is equal to 1. And that's what I was asked to prove, and that's my final answer. In the second part of this question, we're introduced to the line L. We're told that it contains the point 6, 0 and that the slope of the line is m. We're asked to get the equation of the line in terms of m. So this is very straightforward. All you need to get the equation of a line is one point and the slope. We've been given a point, we label it as x1, y1, and our slope is just m. So as you can see, I've worked it out here, and my final answer works out as y is equal to mx minus 6m. In the final part of this question, it gives me the equation of k, which is 4x plus 3y equals 25. It tells me that L intersects K at the point P, and we're asked to find the coordinates of the point P. So you should be clear that to find the point of intersection of two lines, that means you have to do a simultaneous equation. So you'll notice that I've rewritten my L. I just brought the x, I subtracted minus mx from both sides, and I've rewritten L as minus mx plus y equals minus 6m. So now I have the x's under the x's, the y's under the y's, and the numbers under the numbers, so I'm ready to do a simultaneous equation. So I've identified that the easiest letter to eliminate here is the y. If there's a plus 3y on the top, I want a minus 3y on the bottom. In order to get a minus 3y on the bottom, I'm going to multiply the entire line L by minus 3. If I do this, I just rewrite the line K exactly as it was, but here for L I had minus mx. If I multiply that by minus 3, I get plus 3mx. If I multiply plus y by minus 3, I get minus 3y. And if I multiply minus 6m by minus 3, I get plus 18m. Now I'm in a position to add my two lines together. Plus 3y minus 3y cancel each other out. If you add your x's together, you have 4x plus 3mx. And so if you're unsure on this, obviously these aren't like terms, so I can't actually add them together. All I could do is write them as 4x plus 3mx. But the nicest way to leave this is to factorize out your x and call it 4 plus 3m times x. So that's what I've done here. 4x plus 3mx is 4 plus 3m times x. And that's equal to, because the y's are gone, 25 plus 18m. I've no way of making that any neater because there's no like terms. So I just leave it as 25 plus 18m. Obviously this is a simultaneous equation. So the whole point here is I want to isolate my x. So what I did on the next line was I divide both sides by the coefficient of x. Or in other words, divide both sides by 4 plus 3m. In which case you get x equals 25 plus 18m over 4 plus 3m. So that's your answer. That's the coordinate. That's the x coordinate. Now I need to sub in my x into one of my original equations to find the corresponding value of y. Okay, so what I've done is I've taken the equation L and I've subbed in my value for x. In B part 1, I worked out that y is equal to minus 6m plus mx. That's the equation of L. I now want to find the value of y for which x is 25 plus 18m over 4 plus 3m. So what I did on the next line was I have a fraction, I'm multiplying m by this fraction. I'm viewing that as m over 1. In order to multiply m over 1 by this fraction, you just multiply the tops by each other and the bottoms by each other. M by 25 is 25m, m by 18m is 18m squared. And that's all over 1 by 4 plus 3m is just 4 plus 3m. You should realise now on the right hand side, you have two fractions and you're adding them together. In order to add or subtract fractions, you have to get a common denominator. This term minus 6m over 1, and this is all of this over 4 plus 3m. So the common denominator is just 4 plus 3m. Now to work out what goes on the top of the fraction, we start off, there's a minus 6m on top of the first fraction, so I definitely have a minus 6m here. You need to work out what to multiply the minus 6m by. You have to ask yourself, how many times does 1 divide into my common denominator? 1 divides into my common denominator 4 plus 3m, 4 plus 3m times. 1 divides into 12, 12 times. 1 divides into 10, 10 times. 1 divides into this many times. Which means it'll be minus 6m by 4 plus 3m. Now we continue on, we put in our plus because there's a plus between the fractions, and then we take down what's on top of the second fraction, which was 25m plus 18m squared. And you have to ask yourself, how many times does the bottom of that fraction, 4 plus 3m, divide into the common denominator? 4 plus 3m divides into itself once. So I'm multiplying the 25m plus 18m squared by 1. If I now multiply out my top line, minus 6m by 4 is minus 24m. Minus 6m by plus 3m is minus 18m squared. And then 1 by this, it just stays the same. And the bottom remains as 4 plus 3m. Now, the question did say you have to simplify your fractions as much as possible, so we need to continue. Here it's actually very nice because you have a plus 18m squared and a minus 18m squared, they cancel out. And you also have a plus 25m and a minus 24m, which gives you 1m. So y just works out as 1m over 4 plus 3m. So what I've done here is I've worked out that when x is 25 plus 18m over 4 plus 3m, y is 1m over 4 plus 3m. Remember, they're the coordinates of the point of intersection. That allows me to write down the point P. So your final answer, the point P, contains these two coordinates. So I hope all of that video makes sense. If there's anything you're struggling with there, or you want me to explain it differently, just let me know in class or send me an email and I'll try and clarify it.